Today, we're diving into something that's trying to become the USB-C for AI. Imagine a single, universal connector that gives any AI model the eyes and hands it needs to interact with the real world. It's a game-changing idea for sure, but it also might be opening a Pandora's box of brand new security threats.
So let's just start with a really fundamental question. You can have the most powerful AI model in the world, but on its own, it's basically just a brilliant brain in a jar. It can spot patterns, it can predict what comes next, but it's trapped. It can't see new information, and it can't actually do anything.
So here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll talk about those missing hands. Then, the absolute integration nightmare that existed before. We'll introduce the universal connector that aims to fix it all, look at its promise and its peril, dig into the new threat landscape it creates, and finally, figure out how we can actually tame this thing.
Okay, so part one. Let's really get into that core problem. How do you get an AI to go from just, predicting the next word in a sentence to actually taking action in the real world? Well, the answer comes down to one word: tools. I mean, just look at the difference here. It's night and day. An isolated model is completely stuck with its training data. That's it. But once you enable it with tools, it becomes an agent. It gets those eyes and hands. It can suddenly access real-time data and actually interact with other systems. You can really just think of these tools as apps for an AI. And just like apps on your phone, they totally transform what it's capable of.
Right. But before a standard came along, hooking all these new apps up to all the different AI models out there was, well, it was a developer's nightmare. A totally chaotic, unscalable mess.
And this chaos actually has a name. It's called the N by M integration problem. It sounds a little technical, but it describes a simple reality that was driving developers absolutely crazy. The problem just exploded exponentially. For every new model, that's your N, you had to build a completely custom connector for every single tool, that's your M. Imagine you have 3 models and 2 tools. That's already 6 custom jobs. Now imagine hundreds of models and thousands of tools. It was slow, it was expensive, and it was a huge barrier to getting anything done. So there had to be a better way, right? Well, in November of 2024, a potential hero entered the scene: the Model Context Protocol, or MCP. It was designed to be that one single universal standard to clean up this mess. The whole goal of MCP was to just stop the madness, to get rid of that tangled web of custom jobs and replace it with one single, standard way for models and tools to talk to each other, a true plug-and-play system for the whole AI world. And how it works is actually pretty elegant. You've got 3 main parts. First is the host. That's your main AI application, the thing the user is talking to. Inside that host, you have a client. Think of the client as a little messenger. And that messenger talks to a server, which is basically the workshop full of all the tools. The server is the thing that gives the AI all its real-world powers.
And this is where the story gets really interesting, because this is a classic double-edged sword. MCP offers this incredible promise, but its rapid adoption has also uncovered some pretty significant, and often hidden, dangers.
Let's start with the promise, because it's huge. We're talking about a massive acceleration in development thanks to all these reusable plug-and-play tools. It means agents can discover new tricks on the fly, which makes them way more dynamic. And maybe most importantly for big companies, it creates a single choke point where you can actually enforce security and governance.
But here's what's really fascinating. When you look at how people are actually using MCP, it's almost all about one thing. Look at this. 99% of implementations support tools. The other capabilities, they're lagging way, way behind.
And that, right there, that laser focus on giving AIs the power to act in the world through tools, well, that's exactly why this security conversation has become so incredibly urgent.
So let's dive into the new threat landscape. Because when you create a universal connector for everything, you also create a universal weak point that attackers can target.
Okay, one of the biggest risks has this technical-sounding name, dynamic capability injection. But the idea behind it is pretty simple, and frankly, pretty scary. It means a server can secretly give an AI agent new dangerous powers without anyone ever knowing or giving it the okay.
So here's how it works. Imagine an agent that's just supposed to do a simple, low-risk job, like fetching stock quotes. It connects to a trusted server to do that. But then, the server suddenly adds a new high-risk tool, like a purchasing API. All of a sudden, your simple little quote bot can now make financial transactions. It happens silently, with no warning and no reapproval.
Now, if that one sounds bad, this next threat is even more subtle and maybe even more dangerous. It's called tool shadowing. And this is all about tricking the AI into picking the wrong tool for the job.
Check this out. On the left, you've got the description for a legitimate, secure tool. It's really specific, right? Use this tool only when the user explicitly requests to save a sensitive secret. Now look at the malicious one on the right. Its description's super broad, super friendly. Saves any important data. Use this whenever the user says save, store, or keep. It's designed to sound more helpful, so the AI will naturally choose it, effectively shadowing the correct secure option.
And the result is, well, it's pretty much the worst-case scenario. The agent, just trying to be helpful, gets tricked. It chooses the malicious tool, and just like that, the user's sensitive data gets siphoned off to an attacker.
Okay, so after hearing all that, you might be feeling like this is a disaster waiting to happen. But it's not all doom and gloom. This protocol can be tamed. It just means we have to be really deliberate about building strong guardrails around it.
So what do those guardrails look like? Well, it's about defense in depth. You can't just plug this in and hope for the best. You need strict allow lists of pre-approved tools and nothing else. You absolutely have to have a human in the loop for any high-risk operations. You have to clean all the data going in and out. It's really about wrapping the raw protocol in layers of security, basically building a fortress around the connection.
And that really brings us to the final critical question. MCP is here, and it's unleashing incredible power and potential by standardizing how AI connects to the world. But with that power comes a massive responsibility. And it now falls to every single developer and security professional out there to build the robust guardrails we need to wield that power safely.